Alright everyone, welcome to another unboxing. I keep doing these unboxing videos but never end up reviewing most of the beers. Or if I do review them, I just end up getting fed up and deleting the videos. But bank holiday weekend is going to be upon us. The beer fridge was empty, and even though I keep saying I need to go to different places to pick up my beers, did another Trembling Madness order, but there was a little bit more thought that went into this one initially, because I've come to this conclusion that I want to just focus on finding beers that I can depend on. And I've not really done that with this, but it was a little bit more conscientious. But yeah, so I thought, let's do a video. Before I do though, I've been on Vinted, and I tell you what, there's a surprising amount of beer related merch. Don't get me wrong, like most of the apparel in craft beer, it's predominantly dominated. Well, of course it's predominantly if it's dominated, or dominated predominantly by oh, extra small, oh, I've got a small, oh, merchandise. But I was very, very surprised to find this. Now I don't know if it's if someone's made it or if it's a legitimate piece of merch, but I got it for £8, and it's a Russian River sort of work shirt, short sleeve, in that sort of Dickies style, but it's not a Dickies one. And yeah, for £8, like a utility sort of shirt, and then it's got the Pliny the Elder emblem on the back. Looks like it's Red Cap who make these. And yeah, so I'm now craft beer final boss, and it's also sort of the equivalent of buying an I Love New York t-shirt, because I've never actually had Pliny the Elder, although I did have that one that was based on a presidential sort of theme, which I think I either won or was gifted a can of that. I'm sure Rob from Hopsy was involved in that. It was one that on the Supermarket Sips page. But yeah, picked that up for £8. Picked up a Sierra Nevada one as well, which is getting delivered tomorrow, hopefully. And then I randomly picked up a... In fact, we'll just keep it rolling. Let me see if I can find the other shirt. I'm not going to cut, but I was well impressed. Nearly knocked the camera over there. Where is it? I'm keeping it in the video because I can't be bothered starting again. I'm only showing you it because I can't for the life of me remember what brewery it was. Talk amongst yourselves. Where the fuck is it? It's not that interesting, but I'm committed to it now. Do you know what? I need to sell some of this stuff on my own Vinted, to be fair. Here we go. Found it. No wonder my channel's dead. But this is an actual Dickies t-shirt, and Kettle House brewing company out of Montana, Missoula, Montana. What a wonderful phrase. Excuse me. And yeah, I think this is just like, you know what Carhartt do, where they sort of like any sort of brand can have Carhartt, you know, have their brand printed on the apparel. But yeah, just I think these are really cool. I'm getting into that sort of like workwear thing. And yes, I did buy a Carhartt jacket. Like a massive fucking poser. But yeah, fundamentally, have a look on Vinted, and there's some interesting beer related apparel. A lot of the cringy, jokey supermarket beer pun t-shirts. But there was some Mikkeller stuff on, some Omnipio stuff. Quite a lot really, and glassware, all sorts, and price good. Plus you can, you know, you can put on offers in, but it doesn't matter. All I did was get up and go into my wardrobe, and I'm fucking tired. Anyway, so I made a Trembling Madness order. So yeah, and I like to think that most of these, there's a very specific reason why I bought them. First one, because it's a beer that I've not had for a hell of a long time. And I think it was like aside from, was it Jackhammer from Brewdog? And then obviously the Tesco's Finest version, which I think was just literally a rebrand. I'd never really had like a double IPA before. But Sierra Nevada Torpedo, classic, extra IPA, 7.2% ABV. Pint can, 19.2 fluid ounces. But yeah, absolute classic. Had a few cans of pale ale recently, and that just always satisfies. So saw that on Trembling Madness, and I was like, I haven't had that for ages, get it. Nearly bought a 12-pack Torpedo mix case, but it was like 42 quid. I don't know what that would retail on Sierra Nevada's own web shop, which I do still need to do an order on. But yeah, so really excited to be revisiting that one. Then we've got, because they were one of my favourite, if not my favourite brewery last year, and again, another brewery that I'll have to do an actual order from. It'll be the last can that I pick up and inspect, won't it? It's always the way. Always the way. I picked up 2 cans of Bullhouse out of Belfast. First one is Safari. And this one is in collaboration with Sphere Brewing. And it's a 6.5% New England IPA. Really like the brand identity of Bullhouse. And I need to get back to Belfast. It's literally less than an hour to fly there, isn't it, really? You know, I could do a last minute weekend trip if I wanted to. I'm not sure if they've got like a tap room or if they've got like a bar that they own, but I need to go to check them out again. And next thing we've got is Two Ships in the Night, which is described as a light beer. I'm sure is it a cream ale? And this is in collaboration with Vine Street and Out of Office. I think I had a couple of Out of Office beers when I was in Belfast, if it was them. I didn't really have the opportunity to go to, you know, really many craft places due to the circumstances. But I still had a wonderful time. So yeah, looking forward to cracking them open. Then we've got, again, haven't had it for a while, just realised it's damaged at the bottom. I probably dropped it, I don't know. But we've got Don Zoco's Northern Hellers, absolute modern classic. Yeah, need I say any more? looking forward to revisiting that one. Then we've got Rivington's Double Fog 2026. Double IPA, 8% ABV. They didn't have the, or they might have had it and I didn't pick it up. Probably should have to compare the two. Never known fog like it. But yeah, I remember, and I always talk about this, when Never Known Fog Like It first came out in bottles in the sort of like really early stages of that like hazy IPA boom, and looks completely different to what any New England IPA looks now. It was like muddy, murky, and it was just along the lines of like Stig Biget's Amazing Haze. Just these like really turbid, dirty, murky looking beers, packed full of flavour. I'd love to see some breweries sort of like brew New England IPAs when they were still in their infancy within the UK. It'd be really interesting to see that. I think it would be. You might not. Then we've got Sudden Death Brewing Company. They had a nice selection of beers, but this one, don't know why it appealed to me. Echoes of Collapse Hazy Double IPA. I think this is primarily a Citra forward beer, but like in the description, I don't know if this is like Trembling Madness putting this in the description or if it's to add mystery from the brewers themselves, but it said like a non-disclosed hop bill in the background. But yeah, again, bit of a story with Sudden Death. When I was living in Germany, I was a cheeky cunt. I really was, doing something that I don't know. If you're into it, you do sort of reach out to companies. I did it when I was doing the film stuff, and made a lot of good relationships with like distributors. And I remember reaching out to a few like German craft breweries, and most of them obliged. And Sudden Death were one of those breweries. Like really, I don't know how long they'd been brewing up until the release. It was Juice Willis, was it, or Steven Seagal? Steven Seagal. Juice Willis is a what's it called, beer, isn't it? But yeah, Steven Seagal. I remember the bottle, Seagull, and it was like ice hockey because of the massive ice hockey fans and players, from what I can gather. I haven't spoken to them for a hell of a long time, but yeah, they were like one of the breweries who were really generous to just send a random person a couple of beers, and I put up a review back when there was a lot more effort going into my videos, admittedly. So yeah, I'll always have time for Sudden Death, and they're one of my favourite, like genuinely favourite German craft breweries. So I saw that and I picked that up. This video is really going to be really boring for you. Next up, a bit of a splurge. And I was very surprised. There was a nice little selection of beers from these guys, but we picked up 2 cans from Trillium. This one, the double dry hopped 4 Point. I have had it before, but again, I know I can depend on it. A little bit pricey, but I've not really done a beer order or like a notable beer order for a while. Plus, it's a bank holiday. It was payday today. I can justify it. I've not been away this year yet, even though Italy is still on the cards. I'm really leaning towards Naples. But there's also Venice I want to go to, because there's a small town outside of Venice. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a filming location, like really iconic church, filming location for the latter scenes of Watch Me When I Kill, one of my favourite Gialli films. And yeah, and I thought that'd be a good little sort of like day out excursion, spending a few days in Venice. But sticking with that Italian film theme, Polizio Tesci, the rough streets of Naples in the 70s, plus the pizza. So yeah, hopefully, I don't really want to go in the height of summer because look at me. Look at the complexion. Doesn't go well. Nearly shook the can there. So yeah, a little bit more money than I would do, to be honest. So I thought, do it. And I know I'm going to really, really enjoy it because I really, really enjoyed it when I last had it. I was going to pick up a can of just another Fort Point, so then do a little comparison. But then I realised, no, because you've got 2 beers that you've just got to get through then. Whereas if you do 1 beer at a time, you can sit and savour it. So yeah, fantastic beer this. So I was very happy to pick up another can. And then I picked up a can of Congress Street, which I believe is sort of like their flagship beer. Could be completely wrong. If I am, then that's that. But yeah, really, really excited to try that. I've never, from my rare experience with Trillium, I've never been disappointed. Sticking with the American scene, there's no real sort of connection to this. I just sounded good to me from the description. But we've got Grim, and this is their Crystal Vibration. Plus it's got beautiful artwork, as do pretty much all the Grim cans. And it's an IPA brewed with Idaho 7, Eldorado and Mosaic. So yeah, there we go. Next up, we've got Persistence is Utile Imperial Stout. This is number 8 from obviously Cloudwater. And this is Imperial Thermal Shock coffee from lot 63. Now I can never remember if it was Persistence is Utile or that other like notable Imperial Stout series where they did the chocolate orange version, which was nailed chocolate orange in a beer. You could taste that they'd spent a little bit more on the base ingredients, not the base ingredients, but the adjuncts to put in there. And you know me, I love my coffee beers, and I'm probably setting myself up to fail, but I know for a fact I will not be disappointed by this. And it's always good to discover a new sort of like coffee roastery, coffee shop sort of provider. Then we've got 2 cans from New Barnes. We've got the Azzurra Italian Pilsner, and then we've got the New Barnes Frühlingsbier Spring Lager. So an Italian style and a German style from, just like Don Zoco, one of the best lager brewers in the UK. Yeah, so very much looking forward to trying both those. I think New Barnes sort of like artwork on their cans is just so eye-catching and interesting. And again, another brewery I've never been let down by, and one that I've not really had much from recently. Then we've got 2 cans of Sonoma from Track. One is with 2025 Cryo Fresh Hops. So they did a few different variations on that. And then this is the with 2025 hand selected hops. So I think more of a like a green hop variant. I mean, Sonoma is a classic, pound for pound, one of the, if not the best core range pale ale in the UK. And if you ever get to try it on cask, you are in for a treat. Also, very nice as a mini keg, even though I've never been to successfully able to store a mini keg. During lockdown, I'll never forget it, getting a mini keg of Sonoma, a mini keg of a bitter that they'd made. We built a bar in the garden, which is RIP, and people coming round sensibly. We didn't flounce. And yeah, as dark as those times were, especially looking back and seeing how things have come to light, shall we say, it was a good time. It just showed you that, you know, even the world around you was falling apart. People you knew were unfortunately, you know, losing their lives, and the mental health was going down. But in another way, it sort of like made you really appreciate things. And the air was fresher, the water was clearer. I was a lot healthier. I was actually going on walks unprompted and for no reason. And yeah, dark times, but we made the best of them. And also Sonoma, one of my favourite beers of all time. So very interested to see 2 different variants of that. Then we've got Abbeydale Brewery's Dark Mild as part of their restoration series, 4%. Love a Dark Mild. One of my all-time favourite styles. And yeah, I think whenever I do like a House Trembling Madness order, I'm always going to try and pick up 1 or 2 Abbeydale beers, because they always have a good, healthy selection of stuff, and I've been very impressed with what I've had on my recent purchases. Then we've got a bit of Beak, not that sort of Beak, and this is Harvest number 3 double IPA, which I'd imagine is part of a series. The double IPA is one of the trio celebrating our freshly arrived hand-selected hops from the USA. We change our hops for the individual impact of each variety, but also how they work in harmony together. Packed full of our sweet pineapple Idaho 7 and Idaho 7 Cryo, and backed up by our Citra and Mosaic. Yeah. Again, that I will always think back to that beer order I made from Beak, and every beer just being top drawer. And of course that Finback, was it Finback Triple IPA collab, and the merch that he brought out, that was a very solid shopping experience. And yeah, I've always got time for Beak in more ways than one. And then last but by no means least, I could have gone the silly sour beers, but I've realised I find them more enjoyable when you drink them on tap. But I saw this and I wanted to have this one. So it's part of, what's the series? Operation Genome 26.06, where they do different beers with different breweries. And this one was brewed in collaboration with Deep Fried Beers. And this is it's a double IPA, if I remember correctly. Yeah, double IPA. And there's your artwork. I think I had 1 or 2 of the beers from this series last year. I'm sure they've done it. It's I recognise the artwork. But yeah, Azvex again. My God, there's no trip to Liverpool as a beer drinker is complete without going to Azvex, having some fantastic beers, and they've always got a good quality food vendor. The pizza place they got is just chef's kiss. The I think is it Free Meats pizza that I had last time when I was with Mersey Beers and Blue Nose, just wonderful. absolutely wonderful. One of my favourite, like, in general, places to go for a drink. And if it's a beautiful day, you sat outside, it's getting later on, but the sun's still out. You've walked from the Albert Dock, and oh man, it's just that's what it's all about. I know as I'm recording this, Jayco Beer is currently in Newcastle. What an experience that was, by the way. That was probably one of my favourite meetups. We did free trade-in, beautiful view, and then you walk up the road and you've got can't remember what the brewery's called. Yeah, I miss that. I've not been able to do many sort of like meetups, mainly because where I work, it's an absolute nightmare to get holidays sorted, and I've missed out on some great looking little trips like to Ramfest and things like that. And Isle of Man, missed out on that. That's 2 years in a row I've not been able to make it to that. And I just hope I'll be able to do a few more things with those guys, because I miss them like fuck. I've got so many great memories with them. I mean, lucky because Mersey Beers, Adam, is, you know, not far away from me at all. I'm lucky I can, you know, have the odd afternoon or evening, and yeah, it's just that's what it's all about for me. The chase of getting beers, it's sort of it's an expensive way of finding yourself disappointed. Not to, you know, criticize breweries or the industry or the scene at the moment. It's just, I mean, I know for a fact a few of these beers I'll be like, yeah, it's all right. But there's beers in here that I know I'm going to enjoy, and if I need to stock up, usually if I'm out and about, I'll do the like 5 for a tenner deal at Asda. I mean, they sell 4 packs of Feltons now in Asda. I can do bit of my food shop. I'll primarily go to Lidl, which is across the road, and then pick up my beers from Asda. I mean, even the Morrison's local has got that. What's that vocation beer that's got the toucan on it? And that's been fueling a lot of my walk home beers when the weather's been nice. So yeah, I've got some nice beers there that I know are going to be good for this bank holiday weekend, even though I think I'm going to be doing a little bit of a day out with the old man in Wigan. What a great place to have a little pub crawl, by the way. Yeah, it's just I just enjoy drinking good beer, and I always will. Probably won't do anywhere near as much content as I used to do. Well, it's evident, you can see from the channel. Although before I uploaded this, did a little bit of a reel showing the beers for my Instagram. I'm doing a little bit more when I'm out and about, just putting stuff together on Instagram. It's mainly because I don't have really anything decent to edit videos for YouTube on. I could do it through my phone, but it's just such a faff trying to, you know, precisely edit clips together. So I need to get like just a cheap laptop, or get myself a new MacBook on finance or something like that, so I can then start, because I really love when I've been making these little reels on Instagram. It's all just silly clips put together in portrait mode, and then using the music library from, you know, Instagram itself. So I'd never be able to upload them on YouTube because it'd be copyrighted, and yeah, I miss the days when I was a YouTube partner with my film channel, and getting a free account as part of my partnership with Epidemic Sound. Like one of the few genuinely good royalty-free websites. So if you're a creator, try and find yourself a partner. Are there even third-party partners now? Or does it all have to be done through YouTube and then you do sponsorships? So yeah, if you are a content creator, take it from this old dog who's been in the trenches. Sign up to Epidemic Sound, because it's royalty-free music. This isn't sponsored, by the way. It's royalty-free music that doesn't sound like royalty-free music. Anyway, so I'm pretty happy with that beer haul. Looking forward to revisiting beers that I've not had for a while. Looking forward to seeing fresh takes on beers that I love. Enjoying breweries that I love. Having a bit of a taste of America. Yeah, and if I do any reviews, you'll see it on the channel. You'll see it with no thumbnail. A title of a video that's referencing the completely wrong beer or terribly spelled, and then an empty description box. But yeah, I'm still alive. I do tend to be posting a lot more on my socials about Israel, and we won't get into it. But yeah, this is a good distraction for me. It's probably not the healthiest thing to say that when it comes to beer, but you know what I mean. It's more than just the beverage in the can. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up and fuck off because I need a cigarette. Plus my mouth's dry. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below on any of the beers mentioned, and yeah, have a lovely bank holiday weekend. And if you're not in the UK, and obviously you don't subscribe to public holidays, UK-based public holidays at least, then just have a good time no matter where you are in the world. Bye.